When you get rich, tell no one. And I don't mean you should hide in a basement, drive a broken car forever, and pretend your brokerage account doesn't exist. I mean something much simpler. Imagine you wake up tomorrow and finally see the number you used to dream about. $250,000 invested. Maybe $500,000. Maybe your first $1 million. For a few seconds, that number belongs only to you. No expectations, no comparisons, no requests. Just proof that years of boring financial decisions actually worked. Then comes a temptation. I should tell somebody. And that might be the exact moment your money starts creating problems it never had before. Because becoming wealthy changes what you can afford, but people knowing you're wealthy changes what they expect you can afford. And those are two completely different things. The price of saying no. Imagine your friends plan a 4-day trip. Flights, nice hotel, restaurants. Total, $2,600. You look at the number and think, sounds fun, not $2,600 fun. Then somebody says, come on, you make good money. Another friend laughs, what are you saving all that money for? And suddenly the decision changes. A minute ago you were asking, is this worth $2,600? Now you're asking, will I look cheap if I say no? Same trip, same bank account, different psychology. That is one hidden cost of visible wealth. People start confusing your ability to pay with your willingness to pay. And eventually, they don't even need to pressure you. You start doing it yourself. When your lifestyle starts trying to match your income. Your car works perfectly. It's comfortable. It's paid off. Then your income rises. Suddenly, you notice the BMW in the next parking space, the new SUV your coworker bought, the neighborhood your boss lives in. And for the first time, you look back at your own perfectly good car and think, does this still look like me? Think about how strange that is. Your salary changed, the car didn't, but somehow the car became worse. That is not transportation anymore. That is identity. So here's one test worth remembering. Would I still buy this if nobody could ever see it? No Instagram, no coworkers, no neighbors, no friends. If you would still want the exact same car, watch, house, or upgrade, great. Maybe you genuinely love it. But if the desire suddenly gets weaker when the audience disappears, part of the product was never the product, it was the reaction. And reactions can get very expensive. How $400 turns into $324,000. Lifestyle inflation rarely begins with a yacht. It usually looks reasonable. An extra $70 at dinner, the upgraded hotel, a nicer phone, a slightly more expensive neighborhood, a car payment because you're doing well now. Suppose all of that adds only $400 per month. If that $400 were invested every month for 25 years at a hypothetical 7% annual return, compounded monthly, it could grow to roughly $324,000. Not guaranteed, it's simply an illustration of what repeated decisions can become. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported average consumer unit spending of $78,535 in 2024. Housing represented 33.4% of spending, and transportation another 17%. That is why I'm less worried about your occasional coffee and much more interested in the sentence, maybe we deserve a bigger house. Coffee disappears tonight. A bigger mortgage can follow you for decades. The most dangerous upgrade is often the one that permanently raises the minimum income your life requires. Your money can enter other people's plans. Now imagine your mother calls. Something broke. She needs $1,800. You pay it. And that might feel incredible. Being able to remove stress from someone you love is one of the best things money can do. Then your brother needs help. Then a cousin. Then a friend wants a temporary loan. Then somebody has a guaranteed business opportunity, which is apparently guaranteed after your $5,000 arrives. Now you face a problem money cannot solve cleanly. If you say yes, you lose money. If you say no, you may feel guilty. And the more people know about your finances, the harder that no can become. The Federal Reserve reported that in 2025, major vehicle repairs or replacements affected 30% of adults, major home or appliance repairs 22%, and unexpected major medical expenses 21%. So privacy is not about becoming selfish. Sometimes privacy protects generosity. You help because I want to, not because everybody already knows I can. But requests from people you know are one problem. The internet creates another. Every flex is also information. Picture a social media feed. New car, house keys, business class flight, investment screenshot, promotion, vacation, another vacation. To your friends, it says, "I'm doing well." But look at the exact same feed differently. Now somebody can learn what you own, where you spend time, when you travel, what kind of money you may have, and sometimes where you live. FTC data for 2025 showed that nearly 30% of people reporting scam losses said the scam began on social media, with reported losses reaching $2.1 billion. The FTC also warns that scammers can use what people post online to help determine how to target them. So, that investment screenshot you post because you're proud, to you, a milestone. To somebody else, data. This does not mean deleting every social account and communicating through carrier pigeons. It means understanding the trade. Once private financial information becomes public, you can't make everyone forget it. And the same thing happens in relationships. The less people know about your money, the easier it is to discover whether they are interested in you rather than what they think you can provide. The rich person who can't quit. Now, imagine you earn $150,000 a year. Beautiful house, 2 good cars, vacations, restaurants. From the outside, success. Then Sunday evening arrives. Your boss sends another message. Your stomach drops. You think, "I cannot keep doing this." For a moment, you imagine quitting Monday morning. Then the bills appear. Mortgage, cars, insurance, school, subscriptions, travel. And you realize something strange. You earn $150,000, but your lifestyle also needs something close to $150,000. You are rich enough to impress people, but not financially flexible enough to stop doing something you hate. U.S. household debt reached about $18.8 trillion in Q1 2026, and only 55% of adults reported having specifically set aside enough emergency savings for 3 months of expenses in 2025. Now, compare that with somebody earning the exact same salary but quietly investing $25,000 per year. After 15 years, that's $375,000 contributed. At a hypothetical 7% annual return with annual contributions, it could become roughly $628,000. Same terrible Sunday, same boss, same burnout. But instead of, "I can't leave," their thought is, "I don't have to decide tonight." That is an entirely different kind of rich. Not flashy, not obvious, but powerful. Because money is not only useful when it lets you say yes, money becomes incredibly powerful when it lets you say no. Why did you want to be rich anyway? This is the question underneath the whole video. Why did you want money? Did you really want strangers to recognize your watch, or did you want your parents to retire? Did you want to travel without asking permission? Spend more time with your children? Start something of your own? Have something expensive break and simply fix it? The Federal Reserve found that 63% of adults could cover a hypothetical $400 emergency expense entirely using cash or its equivalent in 2025. Now, maybe real wealth is not arriving somewhere and getting everybody's attention. Maybe it is getting bad financial news and your heart rate barely changing. And here's the irony. You can spend 20 years building enough money so you no longer have to care what people think, then finally get the money and start spending it because of what people think. That is a terrible trade. Spend on life, not proof. None of this means you should stop spending. Please don't become the person with $8 million and a mattress from 2004. Enjoy your money, but spend heavily on things that improve your actual life: health, time, comfort, experiences, people you love. Maybe a direct flight is more valuable than a designer shirt. Maybe a great mattress matters more than a luxury watch. Maybe taking your parents somewhere unforgettable beats almost anything sitting in your garage. And if you generally love expensive cars, fine, buy one. Just ask, who is this purchase really for? Me or everybody watching? That question can save you from turning wealth into a performance. When you get rich, tell no one. So when you get rich, tell no one, not literally no human being. Your spouse should probably know. Your accountant would appreciate a few details, but the world does not need your scoreboard. because the best things money buys are often invisible. Nobody sees your emergency fund. Nobody sees the debt you eliminated. Nobody sees the account buying back your time. Nobody sees the panic you no longer feel when something breaks. And nobody sees the moment your boss says something ridiculous and you quietly realize, I could leave. That is wealth. Looking rich requires witnesses. Real financial freedom works perfectly well in an empty room. So build the money, enjoy the money, protect the money. But most importantly, protect what the money was supposed to buy, your choices. And when somebody asks exactly how much you have, smile, say, I'm doing fine. Then talk about something more interesting. Because when you finally get rich, the smartest flex might be making sure nobody can tell. And here on Math Invests, that's the math that matters.